come for you, little one. There are hundreds of ways to take a life, and you must know them all.
But you always told me that life was precious and that it's God's gift and it must be protected.
But your life is the most important one to be protected. If someone comes for you, a hard blow right here can be fatal if delivered correctly.
But who's gonna come for me?
You're asking the wrong questions. You foolish child. There'll come a day when you'll be glad that I've taught you what I know.
I don't know if I could kill a person. How would I live with myself?
I've killed 4 men and a woman, and I live with myself just fine.
Hi everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Mary.
And we're Book Buds!
Today, Joe is going to tell us all about The Forest of Vanishing Stars by Kristin Harmel.
Yes, thank you, Mary. So this was a historical fiction novel, and when I started reading it, it totally did not feel like a historical fiction novel.
Why not?
It had the most awesome opening. It almost felt like a fantasy novel.
Cool.
So a few people recommended this to me, and I was so excited to read it. It opens with this woman, as we saw in our scene. She lives in the wilderness, and she is psychic and has visions and has a sixth sense. So she stole a baby from a German couple because she knew that they were bad people, and she knew that she had to save this baby because this baby was going to grow up to be like a sort of a savior.
Oh.
She didn't know why, she didn't know how, but she just knew she had to get this baby away from this couple.
Okay.
So in reading that opening, I'm like, did I pick up the wrong book? Like, is this the one they recommended to me? A historical fiction World War II novel?
Right.
I was confused because I have read a few of those books and they were not like this.
Right. I mean, historical fiction, you usually feel like it's like a reality-based kind of story. I wonder how many historical fictions have blended into something fantasy.
Yeah.
Or if this is something new and unique.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was so cool. I absolutely loved this book. So the book goes on. This woman lives in the woods. So now she's raising this baby in the woods. And she's teaching her how to survive, how to hunt, gather food, create shelter, defend herself if she needs to.
She? Because you were a boy in the scene.
It was a girl.
You were a girl in the scene? Why didn't you have a wig on?
Because
We have
was
so many
a different
wigs.
kind of a girl.
We
Okay.
have so many wigs you could have put on. Ugh. Anyway.
So teaching her how to defend herself, because she kind of knew in the future she was going to need to know how to kill a person with her bare hands.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
She named the little girl Yona.
Okay.
Okay. And one thing that I loved about this book is that it reminded me of my favorite book, The Clan of the Cave Bear.
Oh, uh-huh.
Because that book, it's all takes place in the wilderness, and you know, in this book, you know, she's gathering the plants and she's figuring out what herbs help you do this and survive this, and you know, wounds and stuff like that. So it really had that flavor of the Clan of the Cave Bear, so
That's
that like
cool.
was nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now in the book, World War II breaks out. Okay, and the woman who saves this girl dies.
The old lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now Yona is all alone in the wilderness, surviving by herself, okay? Now, Yona was born to 2 German people. However, that woman raised her to be Jewish. So something I learned about World War II from this book was that many Jews escaped the ghettos and ran into the wilderness to avoid the Nazis.
Okay.
And like tried to do exactly this, survive in the wilderness undetected by the Germans. So there were a bunch of people just like fleeing and living in the woods. So Yona meets up with a group of them.
Okay.
Now, they don't know anything about the wilderness because they're just trying to survive.
Right. They've just fled, but she's all skilled.
So she's all skilled and she teaches them what to do. She teaches them everything that she knows. Okay? So now she's with a group of people, okay? And now that group of people meets with a whole other group of people. So there's all these Jews running into the woods. And she is like their savior.
Okay.
She is trying to save them, and she's saving them. Okay, there is some hand-to-hand combat because some Germans decide to, you know, hunt them down, and she kills them with her bare hands.
Ah. So the woman was correct that she needed to have that skill.
Yeah, so we have these, like, prophecies coming true.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God, so good.
Interesting. But it wasn't like even though it had this fantasy flair to it, there wasn't magical stuff to it or anything
No,
like that. It
no.
was just with the prophecy,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. So throughout the whole book, Yona doesn't know who her parents are.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always wondering what they're like. She has like a name. She has like the names of them.
So she knows that she was abducted.
She does.
Oh, okay.
She does know that.
Did she ever try to get away from the old lady?
No.
Okay.
No. She did not. She lived happily with her.
Interesting.
But she soon meets up with her father, who is now a German officer carrying out the orders of the Nazis against the Jews. And she's Jewish, and she's helping all the Jewish people in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And he is specifically in charge of hunting down the Jews in the forest, because they are kind of causing some trouble for the Germans. They kind of sometimes sneak into civilization to steal medicine or this or that. And, a couple of Germans have ended up dead because of Yona. So he is actually searching for them.
Wow.
So when they do have a reunion, and it is known, you are my father, you are my daughter, and now they're on opposite sides of the war.
Uh-huh.
So it does get quite exciting at the end.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I gave this book a 5-star review. This was just such a fantastic read. Absolutely loved it. Again, historical fiction, but
With a very different,
very different
story to be told.
Right. So
Yeah.
different in the fact that we have like those prophecies, but also it's like they're in the wilderness.
Yeah.
So it's not your usual World War II book
Right.
of like, no concentration camps, nothing like horrific like that.
Right.
I mean, there is some other stuff, but yeah,
This
it's
is
just
horrific,
different.
horrific in a different way, so we get a different layer of it. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
at the end, like the author kind of like, as like a author's note, she kind of like talks about her research, and a lot of the things in here, like the Jews escaping into the wilderness, that was all true, and she cites a lot of different books, so like you do learn a little bit of something there. It was really interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds like it really surprised you. It's nice. So clearly you gave us some spoilers there with the dad and her being on opposite sides. Are there other spoilers that you're not giving, or?
Yeah, that was the tip of the iceberg. I really don't feel like spoiling this because it was such a good read. I want people to read it.
Okay. So that was like a smaller spoiler
Very small,
compared
yes.
to what else lies ahead in the book.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for sharing, bud.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying Book Buds, give us a thumbs up.
And share us with your friends.
And subscribe to our channel, Book Buds!
Be sure to subscribe.
Like full back.
Nowhere near on camera. Put your chair over there.
Tumble down.
No, too far.
Relax.
Oh, good there.
Relax. You don't have to get crazy.
I can't yell at you?
No.
Then why did you have a wig on?
You're still stuck on this? Because I have my hair back, and she had her hair back.
In the ass.
You're a pain in my ass.
The most important, you must protect it. If someone comes for you. Because I said it.
Yeah. Yup, that did it. And you must protect it. Who's going to come for me?
You stupid fool. You asked the wrong questions.
Jesus, that's aggressive.
Isn't that what I'm supposed to say?
You stupid.
Foolish child.
You stupid.